On this episode of Penny's Hot Rods and Customs, I'm going to do some more fabricating on the Henry J here. I know I originally said I was going to tackle the front end the next video, but I just honestly don't feel like doing it today. And my rear quarter is sitting over there without an inner lip kind of deal, so I figure if I'm not going to film it, it's probably not going to happen right away. So I'm going to get that done and over with, finish grinding it today, and then we'll weld this in. And then we'll put it in primer and put it back on the car for right now. I've already made out my piece. It's 4 feet by 5 feet with a 2-inch lip here, so I'll bend that up in a minute there with the brake. The GoPro is basically almost dead if it's still not, hopefully it's charging right now, I'm not wasting my time here. So anyway, I'm going to go charge that for a minute. I'll go deburr this guy and we'll set it up. But meanwhile, while I'm doing this and then the GoPro charge, here's a video about some forklifts doing donuts the other day in the nice fresh snow we had. Well guys, I think this morning we're going to try out my forklift. It's about 5:30 a.m. Thursday. Let's do some donuts in the snow. Recommend don't do this. Don't be stupid like me. Alright, enjoy the video guys. As you can see though, we did get a lot of snow this week. Poor old truck. And it's cold out. So anyway, we'll go back in a nice warm garage and I'll start I'll deburr that guy, and then yeah, we'll make it we'll try to put a 45 on the brake there, and we'll use the shrinker and stretcher to stretch it out to fit the contour of this guy. So we'll fit that, and like I said, then I'll knock off the rest of this paint here. This quarter's in really nice shape. I wish this the other side was just as good, but down here it's got some issues, but not a big deal. Dents are better than rust. So anyway, I'll charge my GoPro. We'll be back in a little bit and we'll set this up in the brake. See you in a minute. Ooh, 2% left. Okay, so I've got my piece here. GoPro should be good, charged enough for a little while. I'm going to try to break this, but I'm thinking I might have to do it by hand. So yeah, that's not going to be fun. I'll move a bunch of carburetors. Should have done that while I wasn't charging the GoPro. Alright, you stay there. You stay there. What a problem, moving carburetors. Okay. Oh yeah, Dan, still got your socket. One day I'll bring that back to him. Alright, see if we can do this. I just don't want a piece of metal. Thinking I'm going to have to Fig Newton. Yeah, there's no way to do it. No way to do it. Alright, okay. I guess I'll put this to the scratching board. I guess I'll get my piece of steel and we'll do it the manual way of bending it. I can't remember how they did it last time. I thought I could maybe just get this underneath here and try to, but I think it'd put a hell of a crease in there. Okay, I'm going to set up my ghetto brake and bend it the hard way. Alright, we'll be back. Oh man. Proper planning prevents poor performance here, folks. We'll get it one of these times, I promise. Okay guys, what I've come up with is just a piece of 2x2 steel that I had laying around and some flat stock. I just vice gripped each end and just going to use a good old mallet. I'm sure there's a million other ways to do this properly, but hey, when in Rome. All right, now more shape. I'll maybe knock these out a little bit smoother, and then we're gonna leave the Strinker stretcher up to it. Like I said, I left a lot of room extra. This probably will end up getting cut down a little bit because I learned my first time I made it a little too short, and then I wasted a piece of steel, so oh, I'm out of shape, man. Too much driving around a forklift, not actually doing real work. All right, we'll dig out the Strinker stretcher and we'll figure out what's what. All right, cool. Oh, hardest part's getting up. Okay, guys. Well, I was just waiting for the GoPro to charge and whatnot. I already started making it. Started bending it. I did have to take about an inch off here because it wasn't. It was just too big of a bite for the teeth in these ones here. So, like I said, all I'm doing is just stretching the metal. Wish I could show you guys, but it's pretty tough when it's just one guy. But I've kind of got it roughly where I want. This piece isn't going to be long enough. Oops. And I do, I don't know, 3 or 4 bites, and then I go take a look and see how close I am or how bad I'm off. So I think let's see where we're at there. But you can see in there are bite marks, and it is stretching. I did have to take a couple cuts here to relieve it a little bit because the angle's pretty severe on the front there, and I don't have my templates anymore, so I gave them away at the gym. I hope you're watching this, Jim. So anyway, like I said, afterwards I'll just weld that stuff up, but here I'll show you what it's gonna be. Pretty tough to show you, and oh man, is it warm in here. Not complaining. Okay, so I pardon the camera angles, but it will go. Like I said, I've left a lot of material to get cut off afterwards and around, and this piece can be manipulated around. Like I said, I will have to probably put a couple more little relief cuts. So maybe I might just I'll spend a little bit more time massaging, making it fit a little nicer in here. Then I'll put some cuts in and just make sure it's a little more easier. Then I'll set up the welder and we'll weld that guy in. Sorry about that, it's so dark in this corner. It's just like I said, I'm too lazy to go down in the basement and grab some light bulbs. There's a job for Ryan when he's in here working on that thing. Grab some lights. Yay me. All right, so I guess I'm gonna keep monkeying around with that, but you kind of get the gist of this. This thing just grabs the metal and stretches it, and this one here shrinks it. So does the opposite. So anyway, I guess enough rambling. Oh, nothing but the best. Okay, this is not scripted. Anyway, so I wanted to go weld in my inner fender well piece or whatever. Put a new spool of wire in because I knew it was out, so I did that. Not a problem, everything worked. Wasn't getting a spark, or wasn't arcing. So I noticed for the longest time I never ran a bolt in here, so I put a bolt thinking that might be the problem. Tried new metal, nothing. About a year ago or so, this is a true story, I split the wire by accident, or had a cut in it, so then I just wrapped electrical tape and it was good. So, I guess the other day, somehow, somewhat, whatever, it broke. So, I split it. I don't feel like going to the city right now. And also, I just don't, you know, it's getting the end of the day kind of deal, whatever. So, I put a hose clamper on. I'm going to use a whole bunch of electrical tape, and we're going to call that good enough. So, hopefully that fixes the problem. Because, like I said, I took the cover off, trying to see if there's a fuse. I Googled it. Went to a few welding websites and whatnot. But, hey, oh well. Don't laugh, people. This is just temporary. I'm going to put a lot of electrical tape around it, and we're going to call it good. So, back in a few minutes, hopefully, and we'll start welding. Because I was like, oh, man. Some days it just doesn't pay to get out of bed. Should have been on the couch watching Yellowstone. Any of you people watching that? If so, leave your comments. I'm on season 5 right now. Hell of a show. Okay, guys. What's the moral of the story here? Just take care of your tools. So, my half-ass pack should work. I did try on a piece of scrap metal and it did work, so here's hoping. And where's my wand? Oh. Hey, like I said, I'm just going to lightly tap this into place and then beat it around and whatnot. Hey, this is where we were about, I don't know, 40 minutes ago, half hour, 45 minutes ago. close, give it some little love taps, we'll be on our way. I don't think they were designed as 6-horse Fairbanks to use as a workbench. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. As you can see, it's slowly taking shape. I gotta beat this, and that weld I might end up breaking. But yeah, I've got this got to get filled. I'm not too impressed with that at all. So, like I said, I might end up still putting ready rod on here. So, like I said, a lot of this will get cut off, but this I might just beat in there a little bit and then fill it in with weld. So yeah, I think I'll put the camera down for a bit and just keep plugging away at this. So next time you come see it, this will all be more or less tack welded in. And then I'll obviously trim this down. This got to get cut out, beat out, and then just tap this back in. And then obviously cut it, so we'll be back. No point boring you guys with this stuff. Okay guys, it's been a few days. Not gonna lie, haven't touched anything. Well, Christmas and everything, that's finally over with and whatnot. So I think this, yeah, today's the 26th. Getting mixed up with being off for a few days. I did grind some of that stuff. I still got a lot more welding to do. Not even close to being finished. I didn't film any of this, but all of this was all green paint. That's all taken care of. Backside, I scrimmed off all the surface rust. So I just finished that. So I'm going to, I'll wipe it down, degrease it, and I'm going to shoot it in the sealer because there already was kind of having a few little rust spots from sitting for a few days. So we'll do that today and put it on so it's out of the way. But yes, like I said, I've got a million hours left of welding and grinding and finishing and then mudding and whatnot. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way it all turned out. So I'm thinking after I get that guy bolted on, we'll tackle this fender. Blah. I've been putting it off. Well, not really putting it off, but as you can see, it's got a lot of issues. And it's got some issues down there, which I'll probably have to remake and form. So I think my goal next is I'll do this guy right today. I think that'd be a good afternoon job. Why not? Derek and Chris and Ryan, I think, are working on Chris's Jeep and Derek's Honda Santa Fe. So I figured, it doesn't take us all of us to do that. So I'm going to work on this today. Oh, man. Hopefully everybody had a good Christmas. Ours was pretty damn good. As always, got everything I wanted. So you can leave that in the comments. But anyway, I will degrease this guy right now. And then we'll shoot it on primer, put it on the car just to get it out of the way. And I'll pull off that fender. So we'll be back, as always, in a few minutes. Peace out. So anyway, guys, I pulled off my fender. And you can see it's rusted out pretty bad here. So what I'm going to do is make this piece first. Luckily enough that the rust kind of stopped here where it kind of tapers to a point. And it's going to have a lip right here. And there's a lip underneath like this here. So I guess where it mates up. So that's not going to be that bad of a deal. But I'm going to go find some cardboard. Attempt to make this on the English wheel. And yeah, I'm not going to lie. It's probably going to take a couple attempts because I know I'm going to screw it up. So we'll go find a piece of cardboard and we'll cut this out. I'm not sure if I should just, I'm not going to spot weld. I'll probably just end up butt welding these together. I'm thinking that's probably the way I'm going to go. Like I said, this fender is pretty beat, but working with what I got, this one's pretty rough, but I'm not sure. Maybe I might take a look and see if they make replacement panels for those. I'm thinking probably not, but you never know. Yeah, by the time I do that, it'll just be easier to make one, I guess. So anyway, I'll be back. We're going to start cutting this guy out in a minute. I'm going to find some cardboard and we'll start tracing this stuff out. Okay guys, so what I end up doing, I just found a piece of cardboard inside before we threw all the Christmas boxes and wrapping and whatnot. Basically it's going to need a lot of trimming, but at least it's going to get me in the ballpark to put a lip under here and do all that. So like I said, it's a little bit much, but it will work. So I've already traced it out on my sheet of steel. And I'll cut that out and then I'll start forming it. I'm going to figure out which die to use in the English wheel. I'm probably going to do this all wrong anyway, but like I said, it's going to take a couple attempts, so I'm not going to throw this guy out yet. So I'm going to start rolling that both this way and that way. And then I'll see about trying to put a hem on it or an edge or whatever you want to call it. By no means, I do not know exactly what I'm doing, but we're going to wing it. So I got my grinder all set up. And we'll cut this out quickly, then we'll set it up there. Oh! I was figuring this out, I was going to use a piece of newspaper. I seen on some show or whatever, they put newspaper with magnets and then they pull it off and try to mimic what you're going to need there. So I thought about it, but then I need a bunch of magnets and then I have to go in the house and find magnets and that's going to be a thing. So it's like, nah. So I guess I got my piece cut out and we'll take it, the GoPro over there. I'm looking at it and thinking, well, I was in the house, I should have went downstairs, got light bulbs to replace the light bulbs that I've had for like a year, but I'm too lazy to go down and get them. So now I'm thinking this might have been a little bit too thick of metal to use for this. Oh well, we'll use what we got. So I'll set the GoPro up there and we'll start trying to shape some metal. I'm thinking probably this way first and then that way. All right. Still wearing your tooth there, Glenn. Okay guys, like I said, I apologize that it's kind of dark in the corner here because like I said, my bulbs are out. I do have new ones in the basement, but I don't feel like walking in there, and then I'm going to stop and play with Bailey and she's in a timeout right now. So anyway, for the past couple minutes I was just monkeying around, playing around with it. I do have a slight little bit of curve. So like I said, I'm probably doing this the wrong way, but it's the only way you're going to learn. Right? So all I do is just put my piece of steel in, feed it. There's proper better ways to do this, but then you just keep working it back and forth. Not to mention not to get your fingers caught. You only do that once and then you'll forget it. And also too, take the time to knock off the deburrs if you want to get that running through there. So take a minute, grind it off before you start rolling your steel. Like I said, I'm just new at this and I'm monkeying around playing with it. Actually tell you a story about this while I'm doing this. When we were doing the body work on the Pontiac in the 58, we did the rear quarters and front quarters there because they didn't make body panels. So I made the front driver's side and I thought I did a pretty good job. Welded it all in, looked pretty good. Derek said cut it out. It had a little bubble to it in the middle and he goes, you'll never get that out. So that took a couple of attempts. So, like I said, I've got a lot of extra metal on here that won't be getting used. I hope not anyway. It has a good curve to it. So, and you can still move it around a little bit. So I'm going to maybe take this, kind of play with it. And then like I said, then I've got to start curving it this way. So you can see where we actually are making it. You can feel the grooves in it. So it's getting there. So I'll go taking eye up to the fender. It's going to be a lot of walk and forth, going back and forth, seeing what's what. So, and then if miraculously I do make this piece work, then I'll have to put a lip on it on this side and this side here. So we'll be back. So it is coming together, folks. And we'll take a look. All right. It's starting to take a little bit more shape. It is starting to get a little what I want, and it is starting to get a little more, you can work with it. So that's a bonus. So, and what you guys want to do, you want to kind of get a rolling start at it. It's kind of hard to do while I'm trying to film and talk to you guys, but it is taking shape. I don't know, I think you might have seen a few guys do this before on YouTube. Or on Discovery or something. I don't know, some guy named Jesse James. I kind of taught him everything he knows, so that's a true story. Not really. So anyway, it just takes patience going back and forth. And you might see what I'm doing. Well, you can't see with my knee, but there's a thread that puts pressure on here, and every couple times I'm going tightening it up so that way it puts pressure on it and starts to maneuver the metal a little bit. All right, I think that's quite a bit where I wanted to go, so I'm gonna go try that. Like I said, I still have my cup this way, which is, it's really not much. It might have to come down a little bit, but we'll worry about that. But I was more concerned about getting this arch here underneath. Like I said, I can always flatten this out a bit too, but I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up, but you can see where it's been going and where the rollers have been hitting and making contact. So we're gonna go try this. Like I said, it's gonna be a lot of monkeying around. Like I said, this thing could just be thrown in the garbage in about a half hour here, so we'll see. Alright, let's try this again. Poor GoPro. So anyway, it's kind of fitting not too bad where it's got to go. It's going to have to obviously curve more. So what I'm thinking is, because I kind of want to cut it up further up about the rest, because it's going to be probably a little thin right here. So I'm going to go about an inch past there. That should be fine. So I'm thinking I'm going to make my mark right there. I'm going to, where's my marker? Okay, so if we do that, and we're going to bend that, and like I said, then this side's going to have to get a bend too. Something along those lines. Like I said, I've said it many times, people, this piece of shit go in the garbage. We'll try. We'll try. Yeah, I think I used a little too thick of steel for this. Okay. Don't want to go cutting this out yet, because I'm still going to use it for a lot of references. So, what I'm thinking is I'll make this mark straighter. I'm going to bend that, going to bend this over here. Oh, so that's going to get cut off. And then I can maybe go from there. Or actually, well, if I cut that, then I'm not going to be able to shape this as much. I think I should have read a book or two before doing this. Alright, we're going to be back. Might be a few minutes before you guys see me again, because I'm going to figure out what's what. Like I said, this could... I don't know. Might have to call Derek and Christopher. We'll see. Nah, we got this. We don't need to call those two guys. I think they're working on Chris's Jeep today. Alright, not a problem. Alright, we'll be back. Like I said, you're going to see when I do come back, this will look a lot different. And then maybe we'll cut this turd out. Okay, so it's been a little while since you've guys seen me. This was the piece I was making. Everything started working. I had to use the shrinker to start making my contour. Everything was working good. Wasn't bad until I put it in. And then I guess me doing this made it about 1/4 inch too short. So needless to say, this is garbage. Well, not necessarily. I might be able to make it for this piece here, but I'm thinking it's probably garbage. Told you I was probably going to make a second one. And here it is here. I still got to trim this down here a little bit here and knock that in, but this contour here is where it's got to fit. Everything fits pretty good where it is. So I'm pretty happy with it. I'm just going to massage it in as I go, but it does have a slight curve this way and that way, so I think it'll work. So I'm going to just put some tack welds in it, and then like I said, I left enough of a lip on here that I'm going to, actually before I do, I'll grind this off. Make it look nice. That way I've got something to weld to for when I make this guy. There's nothing left of this guy, clearly. So it's pretty close to where it's got to go, so it may not be exactly 100%, but hey, it's better than a rust hole. So I'll tack this in here, and I'm going to kind of just bend it as I go, because like I said, I do have it fairly close to where it's got to go. It does have a good curve this way and that way, and so making do with what I got. Like I said, it's going to be better than a big old rust hole. So, like I said, some grinding, some mud. Nobody will notice. So yeah, I guess I'll go hook up the welder and we'll put some tacks in it. So I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, I got some rough edges here, but I kind of beat them in. Got most of them out, but it's not too bad. Okay, I'll be back. I'm going to go fire up the welder and weld this, then I'll grind this down so I have something nice to weld to. And a couple minutes, this should be all buzzed in. Then we'll tackle that guy. Alright guys, actually pretty impressed how this is all turning out. Not bad. It's going to need a little bit of mud right here. I'm only using that type of grinder right now. I've got to go somewhere around here. I got the proper grinder that I can get in here and start knocking some of this stuff off. But it's really pretty good. A little high spot right here I'll knock off. But I'll get the other grinder. Not too bad. It's not exactly perfect, but it's going to be pretty good for what I'm doing here. So like I said, I'll just fill in this with a bit of mud. I'll hammer and dolly that in a little bit better over here. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with all of this. Like I said, it's just going to need a bit of a skim coat of mud. Alright, so I guess what I'm going to do now, I was just contemplating. This is all pretty solid steel, and I don't really want to make it, but it's got a few pinholes here, so I'm thinking I'm just gonna slice it here, here, and down there. That way that I can fit it to this new piece here, that I can weld them all up together. This is really bothering me. I'm gonna try to grind that out a little bit more. So I just don't want to make a mess with that type of grinder, so that way I can knock off a few of those. Squirrel! But anyway, I guess I'll cut this guy out here. We'll quickly make that piece. I hate to say it, no. This is probably going to just end up in the garbage. Alright, I'm going to go tackle this thing here next. I'll cut this out, and then I'm just going to make it the same way I did this guy. Okay guys, I kind of made just a rough piece. Like I said, it's going to get trimmed again, but I just made a little 45-degree on bend on there, and then I'm going to use the stretcher to make my curve. So, like I said, I never filmed any of it when I was making that last time, because I said I had to remake that piece. You just want a slight little curve. I kind of got how much I need. I don't need very much. It's right in the center. And you can see where the camera should be, where it grabs it and strings. Well, this one's stretching it, but yeah, it does both. But yeah, you'll see where it grabs. So I'm going to try doing that. And then, like I said, I got to put this side here, I got to put another 45 on here, and then it just has a slight little curve. And then we'll see. We should be able to weld this thing, not much longer, but we'll keep going back and forth. Like I said, I think I might have to go a little bit more just by looking at it, but like I said, it's all trial and error. Hopefully this one we don't have to make another piece. Hopefully not. Well, it's welded in. I'm not exactly too happy with my gap, but I'll fill it in a little bit with seam sealer, then kind of cut it out a little bit, but it is welded in the inside. I thought I could have got it a little tighter, but is what it is. But yeah, it's not bad. It's gonna need a bit of mud, nothing crazy. I gotta weld up that hole, and I don't know why, but there's a little hole there, so probably would have been smart just to do it, but I don't want this part. This part's all real solid, so I'll just cut this part out later on and weld it in. But yeah, this is all welded in. It's all blended in nice back here. Not too bad. Like I said, it needs some final grinding, so not too bad for an afternoon's worth of work. So like I said, it's way better than that rust hole in the beginning, and there's some of the aftermath. Yeah, not too bad. So like I said, it's not a most exciting video, but hey, it's all part of it. Like I said, to me, it's a big win because I hated that stupid hole. And I'm really not looking forward to tackling those bottom pieces. So anyway, guys, yeah, leave in the comments if you know anybody that makes reproduction parts for the bottoms. It's just out of curiosity. So if not, I've got enough to go by the driver's side, and I can use that for a template and make a mirror image of that for that one. So as always, guys, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. What should I be doing this? Well, actually, I know what I got to do next. Next, it has to be, I got to start finishing this off. That way I can paint the frame and all that stuff. But this has all got to happen. So not sure when that's going to happen, because guess what, boys and girls? I'm going to Vegas in T-minus 23 days for a week. So I'm going to try to get another video before then, because I think Derek and Chris have got one, and I think Ryan's got one. So I'm just rambling here because I got to go inside, make some supper. So anyway, tell me if I'm headed in the right direction, guys. I think I am. Actually, the funny thing is, there was a set of NOS fenders on eBay or Marketplace Facebook, or the Henry J website, but they were not cheap. Honestly, if I lived in the States or closer, I probably would have bought them. But oh well, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. That's for sure. Adios.